The fortress lay, cross endless plains and watered blind.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a Dragon's Dogma review. This happens to be one of my favourite games of all time, easily in the top 5s, and after many years it has finally gotten a PC port. It's set to release in January 2016, so I wanted to make an informative video and fill you guys in on what you can expect. I'll give you a brief rundown of what genre the game falls under. Dragon's Dogma is an open world action adventure RPG published by Capcom mid 2012. The story is a little bland and generic, but it also isn't. It's a little weird like that. A dragon unseen in the kingdom for years suddenly appears out of the sky and wreaks havoc across the land. The dragon attacks a small fishing village, which just so happens to be where our player character resides. Some shit goes down, and by some unfortunate events gets their heart ripped out, quite literally, as the dragon takes it for his keepsake, and your fates are then bound together. You then awake with a glowing scar across your chest and your heart missing, obviously, and so the plot of the game unfolds. You are tasked with killing the dragon in order to get your heart back and save the land, but there's more to it than that, and it basically blows all the generic crap right out of the water, because this game has one of the twistiest plot twist endings of any video game ever. And it's amazing. I don't want to spoil too much, of course, but I seriously hope come January you guys go buy this game and find out for yourselves, because it's totally worth it. The game allows for a huge variety of customization for character creation. You can pick between either a male or female, choose from 52 different hairstyles I believe, dozens of faces to pick from, and a great array of body sliders. The game even has a boob slider for all you boob lovers out there. One very interesting thing that it does is how much your character is able to carry depending on height and weight, which adds a great sense of realism to the game. So don't expect to have a pudgy midget like this guy and expect to be carrying a whole lot. Alright, not the best example because that guy's fucking hench, but you get the point. One of the game's main innovations is the pawn system. Players are given the option to create a secondary non-playable AI character known as a pawn. Pawns are basically denizens of the Rift. They lack any emotion or will of their own, so they just follow the Arisen, who is chosen by the dragon. The game hasn't really specified as to why they do this, or I just haven't found out, but just go with it. Other than the main pawn, the player can summon 2 more support pawns from the Rift using a Rift Stone. The pawns that can be summoned are a mix of game generated, and if you're connected to the internet, the player can summon pawns made by other players around the world, which is pretty awesome. Pawns can also be found wandering the wilderness, mainly on the roads of Grancis, and you are able to recruit them that way as well. The game is designed to be playable by even those who are not skilled at action games. These type of players can recruit really strong pawns and let them do the fighting while they stick back and watch over the battlefield. One thing to note though, the game has 2 forms of currency: regular gold, which is used for regular transactions with regular NPCs, and Rift crystals, which are used to purchase pawns. Now, the higher the pawn's level is, the more expensive they are. Now, all the pimp jokes aside, that doesn't mean the game is easy, far from it. There's a reason this game is actually compared to Dark Souls early on, because you are definitely going to be dying. Players can expect to have up to 40 to 50 hours of main quest play, which is a lot, plus an additional 70 hours of side quests, so you shouldn't be getting bored anytime soon. Now, the combat is something that is very special in the game. The game blows apart the competition in terms of combat in my opinion. The combat is in real time, very satisfying and fast paced, very responsive, and all round very great. It truly feels like the game is using the 3D environment as much as possible. The animations and movements are very crisp and fluid, and the spells and attack effects feel very believable. In my opinion, the best way to describe Dragon's Dogma is if you had like a cauldron, say, and you threw in Dark Souls, The Witcher, Skyrim, Shadow of the Colossus, and a bit of Monster Hunter, you would end up with Dragon's Dogma. Yes, at times, I will agree, the game feels a bit repetitive, but the boss fights are some of the best I've ever had in years. It has its flaws and shortcomings, as do all games, but overall the game is just fantastic, and the fun definitely outweighs the few cons that I see this game having, and that is honestly a non-biased opinion. Vocations are the classes of Dragon's Dogma. There are 9 vocations that can be played, and they are separated into 3 different groups. The basic group consists of the fighter, the strider, and the mage. The basic vocations have a balance of offense and defense, and they're basically designed to teach you how to play the game. The second group is the advanced vocations, which are basically an upgraded version of the basic ones. They are the warrior, the ranger, and the sorcerer. These primarily focus more on offense, and finally we have the hybrid vocations, which add multiple portions of the basic and the advanced class into something unique. The hybrid classes consist of the Mystic Knight, the Assassin, and finally the Mystic Archer. There are 9 levels of progression to each of the 9 vocations, from basic to mastery. In addition, each new level gives access to augmentations, which can be used across all vocations. Each vocation also has very specific stat growths, which I will get into more detail in a future video.